Welcome again to another Discover Trempealeau County show. Today we have, I think, a very interesting show. We're located on the Sylla farm, about 2 miles west of Whitehall on County Highway Q. And they raise a number of things here, but this time of the year they're very busy with pumpkins, and I think you can see Wade filming in the background. They're picking pumpkins, and we're going to be talking to LaVern and Ann Sylla. They call their farm Sylla's Acres. And should be a very interesting show, and we probably learn a lot about raising pumpkins. Well, this is LaVern Sylla, and we're out in the pumpkin patch, and you're loading pumpkins. And tell us a little bit about how do you identify the pumpkins that you want to pick?
Well, you want it to be bright orange. And our market wants basketball size and bigger, so as probably you'll see a lot of left out here that are too small.
What do you do? What do you do with the ones that are left over?
I got a big disc. They make fertilizer out of them.
Good fertilizer. Well, this field that we're in is a pretty large field. How big is it?
This one here is 7 acres.
And you got one bunch of pumpkins in here. About how many pumpkins do you have per acre? Have you ever counted them up on an acre basis?
Well, when we first started, like I mentioned earlier, on our early pumpkins, I figured there was a good 1,000 pumpkins to the acre at that time. But they weren't all saleable pumpkins. They weren't, there were a lot of smaller ones too. We can't sell. We don't have a market.
Of that 1,000 pumpkins, how many do you think are the basketball size?
About 2/3.
So that's a lot of pumpkins, an awful lot of pumpkins. And there's no other way. There's no mechanical harvester or anything like that. It's all hand.
Well, I'll tell you what, when they get my pumpkins, they're all supposed to have a handle on when they get to the store. If the kids break a handle in loading, they break a handle in washing, or put them in a bin, they get thrown out.
Why is that handle? I suppose it's part of the pumpkin, the Halloween pumpkin.
Well, if you take the handle off too early in the season, that spot will rot. Especially if it's sitting up so the water will sit in it. That pumpkin will rot. So that's why we try and sell them a good pumpkin. What happens after that, that's beyond our control.
Do you sell this primarily to stores? Do you have some sales right here on the farm?
Oh, we don't. We haven't advertised. We're kind of busy. So, but if somebody comes, we'll take care of them.
Well, how did the stores know about you to begin with? You must have did some advertising.
I had to go do it myself. I had to show them what I had and tell them what I could do, and it just grew from there. We just started out maybe selling a couple thousand a year. That was all we sold. And
you haven't been raising pumpkins too long, have you?
Well, no. It's been 6 years for sure. We tried to start with. We grew pumpkins, but we didn't know that the store wanted this a certain size. So first year we had all kinds of pumpkins, but they were small. There was no way to sell them. So you know what the wife and I did? We picked them and we washed them and we took them, give every grade school kid in the Whitehall Elementary and Pigeon School, we gave each one a pumpkin.
Boy, that was pretty generous of you to do that. Now, let me ask you, this field here, we have talked a little bit about it, but it's very clean field. There's not many weeds. You've learned the technique of raising pumpkins. Let's start right from the beginning. What kind of soil do they need?
Well, you don't want too heavy soil, something where water will sit, because you get a wet spell, your pumpkin's not going to rot. You want something with good drainage and sandy loam. We got sandy loam here. We got pretty much ideal ground for this kind of thing. And like I said, this field last summer, in fact, was sweet corn. And after we got done picking it, I disked it all up and let it lay till the weeds germinated, and then I disked it again. And then I put winter rye in, and I had a nice stand. It looked really nice. It was just green lawn here all fall, and this spring, and I sprayed it with Roundup and killed everything dead. And I no-tilled the pumpkins with the corn planter. I plant them with my regular corn planter. I don't have hills; they're scattered out, of course. And then they came up, and it was so nice and clean. But later on, I saw weed coming, so I made a spray cart and with a little sprayer on a little old antique tractor I got. It's a narrow one. It was just perfect for the job. And I drove between each row. And I don't know how many rows in the field, but there's a lot of them. And I drove back and forth. That one day, it took me all day to do it. It's 7 acres. And I sprayed it Roundup again, and as you can see, I got hardly any weeds. If you look down the field, you can see there is a row where
you missed. I think you missed that.
No, that's the row where the pumpkin was in.
Oh, I see.
I sprayed in between the pumpkin rows. In fact, I did kill a few pumpkins because they had started to vine on me, and they did get a little Roundup, and that kind of killed them. But it thinned them out. It didn't hurt my crop at all.
Well, it's sure a beautiful field here. Is there any special care that you take in terms of fertilization? Do they require special fertilizer, lime and so forth?
Well, I guess from what I understand, they tell me pumpkin like two things, nitrogen and lime. I didn't get lime on the field. I was going to do that, but I didn't get it done. But I did get the nitrogen. And, it was 200 pounds of 12, 14, 42 or something like that in a starter. And then I put on 80 pounds of actual ammonium nitrate before I planted it. And I tell you what, I was afraid because I never seen so much vine in my life. All the years I raised pumpkins, and of course we never fertilized like that either. But we couldn't. Earlier the store asked me how many pumpkins I had. I couldn't answer them because we could walk out here and we couldn't see them because the leaves were so big and so much vines, you couldn't tell there was a pumpkin. But now, after we had this killing frost, now you see down the field, it looks like there was an awful lot of them there.
Are you able to raise pumpkin on the same field for the next year, or do they recommend some kind of a rotation?
Well, I think you can get by 2 years. That was 3 years ago. There was pumpkins on the field. We had a very poor crop. We had a lot of rotten ones and that. But then I had a sweet corn, and I took a chance and put them this year. But they claim pumpkins, you can grow 2 years, but they say follow a long rotation because you can have fungus, and there's all kinds of things that you can have. You got insects that'll bother too. That'll will ruin your crop. But I sprayed. I had the cucumber beetle really bad in here. I didn't have them when they're small, and that's unusual because I usually have them when they're real small, and they'll eat the plant right up. Then they give them a blight. Then you don't get a crop either. But I didn't have that this year. But afterwards, when they were blossoming, when the bees should be in the field, they moved in and they were starting to eat the plants. Well, I have Larry Bergman. He furnishes the bees for me. I give him a little strawberries, and he gives me some bees. But my concern was I didn't want to hurt his bees. So between Larry and me and our local co-op and literature we could find and what is the safest product to use, and well, it just happened. It worked out that it was going to rain that night, so I hurry up and got out here and done it because after dark, when the bees have all gone back to the colonies, then it rained that night, and I asked Larry. He says, "I didn't see any damage to my bees," and we got rid of the cucumber beetle. So it takes a lot of planning. It isn't just something that you just go out and do. They're a lot of work. Each of you, I'm sure that you'll see this. With the handling, I figure we handle each pumpkin, the kids handle each pumpkin 7 times before it gets put in the bin. I'll handle it, the bin, 2 to 3 times before it ever gets to the store, and then they'll handle it 1 or 2 times depending on where they're displaying at the store. So they're handled a lot of time.
I think anybody that makes a living out of the soil, has to work hard, whatever they do out of the soil. Well, let me ask you about your sweet corn. Do you raise a lot of sweet corn?
17 acres. That's all picked by hand. And I got these kids. They come and help. Sometimes we go out at 6:30 in the morning because they want it early. And when it's hot, you go and drive down the road with sweet corn in the back of the trailer and open bin because it dries it right out. So we go early. We get so soaked, but it's better to be soaked and cool than pick in the middle of the day when it's hot.
So you distribute those then also to the stores? Same stores they sell the pumpkins to?
Same stores.
And just tell us a little about your strawberry. You've been in strawberries for many years.
Well, I don't know what's happening. The weeds must be getting resistant because I do use a little herbicide. And I don't know. It didn't work this year. I put it on. It's supposed to be rain on it because if you don't, it'll affect the strawberry leaves. It don't hurt the strawberry, but the leaves get kind of brown and stuff. strawberries grow right out of it. But there wasn't enough rain to activate the chemical down in it, and the weeds come through. And my strawberries are kind of weedy so far, but I got a way to take care of that yet.
And how many acres of those do you raise?
10 acres.
It's real technical, I think, raising strawberries. I find that in my garden.
You gotta, I know people tell me, gee whiz, I got it made. I don't know. I don't get a chance to take a vacation in the summertime because my vacation is out here. And I enjoy it, though. I like being outside. I like doing this. I don't know. If I didn't have this, I think I'd miss it pretty bad.
Oh, you'd really miss it. You like to see things grow. That's a characteristic of farmers. They like to see things mature and grow. A great satisfaction.
It's satisfaction to me to see it grow, but also satisfaction to see people come. And if I'm doing a good job, that they're happy with what I do. That's really part of life. What you do, and people are happy with what you're doing. I appreciate that. If you'll see on a wagon, there's a lot of dirt on them, and you can't rub all that off. Then people buy the pumpkins outside the store, and walk to the store and drag all the dirt to the store for them. Then we come there trying to sell pumpkins, but we washed them. So after they dropped, the other supplier took us.
Well, LaVern, maybe you could tell us a little about the operation that's going on here.
Well, right now they're trying to wash them before you put them in a bin, then they'll be shipped out. We don't like to ship them out dirty, and then a lot of times, if you don't wash the dirt off, underneath the dirt there can be a bad spot. It could be rotting or something. Just by way of washing them, when we sell a pumpkin, we're selling it should be a pretty good pumpkin.
So they're actually not only scrubbing the dirt off, they're making kind of an inspection of the pumpkin?
We're also looking for, say a soft spot, or, it could be from a bug or just a fungus.
Then what do you do with those?
They go on a manure spreader. They go back out in the field for fertilizer.
How about if there's a little green or something on the bottom somewhere? Is that, are they still sold?
Yep. What was that again?
A little green, they're a little green color?
When we get done, we'll drain it out in the fresh water. We do that every day.
No, I was talking about the pumpkin itself. Like, say, for example, right here, there's a little green. Does that interfere with selling of the pumpkin?
That all depends on the green. There's one green yet that ain't ripe, and there's another green. I don't know. It's what you call it. It's something. I know our miniature pumpkin will get it too. They'll get them green stripes in it. It's a ripe pumpkin. It's just that it got something there that made it.
Will that turn yellow then eventually?
No, that will not turn yellow.
It won't hurt the sales.
No.
Now they're just rolling this cart away. About how many are in a cart? I think you told me that before, but.
Well, right now, the one he's moving there, he's probably got, 55, 60 of them, but that's a pretty big bin. The smaller ones, they're only about 40.
Does somebody actually count the pumpkins as they're being put in? Do you count, so you got a record of how many pumpkins are in each case?
Well, when there's more than one doing it, they're calling out their number as they put it in. So the next one knows what the number is, and the next one calls out the number, so they always know what the running total is.
Why do you do that? Why do you keep track of the numbers?
Because we sell them by the pumpkin.
Oh.
We don't sell them. We sell them by the piece. We don't sell them by the pound.
Now, this method of washing, LaVern, have you tried other systems or other methods before you came to this system?
Well, I had it fixed up. The piping is laying here by the building where we use water pressure, but that does not. It didn't do a satisfactory job for me, so I just took it out and we're doing it.
What was wrong? Too much pressure?
No, it ain't too bad if we would pick them the same day and wash them. But sometimes they get picked and they sit around for a couple of days, the dirt dries on, it don't come off as easy. So a brush, it's going to come off.
So you reverted to kind of elbow grease. And how about this method here? It's kind of unique. This something you built yourself, this washing bin?
Well, I had to have something to hold water, and with the hood, you probably see it in there someplace, that's where some of the spray nozzles were in there, so we didn't get all wet. But if I would have had time, I would take that off so more people could wash from one side, not from two sides. But time Time don't let me do everything I
Yeah.
want to do.
You got a busy season at this time of the year. About how many pumpkins can they wash an hour?
Well, last night they washed 25 of these bins, and there'd be 40, let's say about a 40 average in a bin. They washed 25 bins last night in 2.5 hours.
Well, if I was good at math, I'd figure that out, but I'm not. But that's that's an awful lot of pumpkins.
Well, I told them we have a lot to do with that big blowout coming, and we are a little short, so I said, everybody kind of buckle down and let's get the job done, and they did.
In the water that you're using here for washing the pumpkins, do you have any special ingredient in the water to help the washing process?
Nothing. It's pure spring water. I got a spring developed back here that we done in Farm Progress days in '77. It's I got about 8 feet of water in it, and I got a transfer pump in a tank on a truck. When I need water, I back over there and draw the water out and fill the tank up with fresh spring water, and nothing better.
Nothing purer than that, I guess. Well,
I don't believe in putting something in the water because the kids are handling it with their hands. The people are going to handle it to store their hands. We don't need any more chemicals than we have to. I'm not one of the freaks that say we don't need any, but I don't want to use any more than I have to. We usually work 2 hours after school from 4 to 6, but the blowout, we need so many of them, so we're working an extra half hour. But that's it. They have homework to do too, you know.
oh, yeah. Well, I wonder if they'd mind if I go over and talk to one or two. See if anybody will talk to me. Say, could I interrupt you? I'm not here to take your place, but I just ask you a question or two. What's your name?
Cody Young,
Cody Young. Where are you from?
Pigeon,
And how long have you been working here at the Sylla Pumpkin Farm?
2 years.
And how many pumpkins have you washed in that time?
I don't know.
How do you like the work?
It's all right.
You guys seem to be having a lot of fun here. I see you do a lot of talking and even a little gossiping once in a while. What's your name?
Brooklyn Heggie?
Brooklyn Heggie. Are you Bob's daughter?
Yeah.
Ah, you're a neighbor of mine, right from Whitehall. And how long have you been working here?
2 years.
How do you like it?
It's fun.
Do you like pumpkin pie?
No.
Well, I guess most of these pumpkins LaVern has been telling me are used for Halloween. How about you? Could I ask you what your name is?
Josh Kaiser.
Kaiser? Where are you from?
Whitehall.
And how long have you been here?
I wouldn't remember.
It's tough to get old. Yeah. And what's your name?
Justin Radomski.
And how about you?
I've been working here for 3 weeks. Independence.
They let you work here, huh? Well, thank you very much. I don't want to interfere with progress because you guys are really moving out. So say, Ann, we don't like to interrupt you when you're working, but we haven't talked to you very much since we've been here. Let's say Ann Sylla. And how many years have you been into the pumpkin business?
It's, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. And you raise strawberries.
Yes, we raise strawberries.
And how long have you been in the strawberry business?
21 years.
So this the two complement each other, don't they? They don't overlap.
No, they don't. And in between that, we have sweet corn.
Oh, wow. So you got a little of everything. And what is your primary job here on the Sylla farm?
I just work with the kids, pretty much, when we do this stuff. Strawberries, I'm in a building, but otherwise with sweet corn and pumpkins, I work with them. I wash with them. I pack with them. I pretty much, if they do it, I do it.
Who does there's an enormous amount of bookkeeping, selling all these all these products, all these stores. Who is the bookkeeper in the family?
Well, with this, we got books, and they keep a tab, and we keep a tab. And then my daughter takes care of all our kids for payments, and she keeps their records and does all their stuff for them.
So you're involved at every step of the operation then?
Oh, yeah. All over. Whole bit, everything.
We're talking to LaVern and his wife, Ann, and we're in another section of the operation of their farm out here where they raise the pumpkins, and you raise more than pumpkins, I see. Now, you've got a lot of exotic things here. Why don't we talk a little bit about what you got? First of all, where are all these different products sold?
They go the same stores that our big pumpkins go. We do most of our business with Festival Foods, just Kogan stores. We don't anybody else.
That's in La Crosse, or?
La Crosse, Marshfield, 2 stores in Green Bay, 1 in De Pere.
Oh, so you travel, you put on a lot of miles delivering your products then.
No, the one at Green Bay and De Pere, we take it down to Potato King and they deliver it.
Well, tell us about this operation. Let's just pick a few of these things up. Explain what that is.
That's a little miniature pumpkin, a munchkin, or there's another name for it, but it's a miniature pumpkin. It's decorated. They're also I've never tried it, but they tell me they're edible. We've never done that.
So have you ever tried eating them, Ann?
No, I have not. No.
Well, maybe you'll have to try sometime. And how about something like this? Now, this looks like a miniature pumpkin, but it's got kind of warts on it.
This gourd here.
Oh, that's a gourd?
This is a gourd, but that's a warded gourd. There's a different one. This is a warded gourd. And this one here, because it varies a lot of different colors and shape, but this here stuff, they call these the wing gourd. So even with the pumpkins, I got pumpkins planted 26 acres on 7 different fields. And we got the same thing with our miniature pumpkins and gourd on 7 different places. And we planted them at 3 different times in case the weather wouldn't be right at a certain time or something for pollinating or whatever. We try to spread our risk out somehow and hope it'll work.
The picking season as well. Then.
Well, the picking season, that isn't important because this stuff does not rot like a pumpkin would.
Oh.
This stuff, I'll tell you what, some of this here, you can put it in your car or take it at home and leave it where it's dry. It's just as nice next spring and dry it out. It's just as hard.
How long will it keep?
This keeps real good. You can keep this from year to year.
Well, why is that? Because of it's thicker or something?
It dries out and actually it gets kind of hollow after it.
Where do we have any
Does
like
it
this?
make any noise? Is there seeds or anything?
Some of them will, but not all of them.
We don't have any of them pictures.
Which?
They got a, let's see. There's a gourd that looks like this. That don't have the wings on it. It's smooth. They call it, what the heck do they call that darn thing again? The spoons, they call it. And, and them you let dry out, and then they'll seal rattle, there's a name for that instrument. I can't remember, but.
I know what you mean, but I forget too.
But no, they dry. I got, Susie's factory's got a few that got maybe a little blemish. She's saving them, and then she's going to take them because she's a teacher in Head Start down in Independence. She's going to save it and take it to the kids afterwards next year.
A musical instrument.
Something for the kids to play with, And Bobby, a little learning too, besides.
How about these miniature pumpkins? Oh, go ahead. Tell us about these.
If you got a picture of these are the
You
spoons.
gotta hold them a little still. So
Spoons.
so you shake them, and that's the type that.
After they're dried out, the seeds will be loose in there, and then they'll rattle.
You can run a beat with those.
I guess.
How about these miniature pumpkins? Are they the same as the gourds as far as longevity and being able to keep them?
Yes, if they had a chance to mature on a vine, they'll keep probably just as long as the gourds. I have no problem.
There's another pail here, LaVern, that's a different kind of. I'm not sure what this is, a gourd or a pumpkin, but they're unusual.
These are a white miniature. They call Lumina, not Lumina, but Peekaboo. That's for decorating. They're just white. Actually, if you scrape them, they're orange underneath. And if you don't pick them early, you leave them later, they start to get dark color. So when we pick them when they're ready, we try and pick a whole bunch and get them washed up and put them away.
You probably told me, but I don't remember. How many acres of these do you have? These miniature pumpkins and gourds and so forth. How many acres do you raise of these?
About 6 acres.
Wow. And how?
And the best part, the wife did some hoeing, but Susan and Chris did most of the hoeing. There wasn't hardly no chemical used on them fields. It was all done either cultivated. I cultivated for them, of course. They have a tractor, but they did all the hoeing, so they're nice and clean.
Well, let's move on down here. I think your wife got away from us here, LaVern, but maybe you could explain. You raise, we used to call this Indian corn. I don't know if that's the name.
Well, this is miniature Indian corn that you see on the table in front of us. I don't know. It was a funny year. Usually our miniature Indian corn is the first thing to be dry. Our big Indian corn that you'll probably see a little later was all the last thing to get dry. This year was just the opposite. And then we bring it in here into the shop here. This is our shop. And we'll husk it and lay it on tables. And I got fans running. You dry it, because maybe in a store, if it sits too long someplace, who knows where they're going to store it. You don't want it to mold. So we kind of air dry it as much as possible.
Your miniature corn and your Indian corn, is that primarily for decorative purposes as well?
That's all decorative. We don't. I guess some of it could be used for popcorn. We never tried it.
How do you plant this corn? How do you plant it?
Well, the little one, I worked the field up, and I got a little seeder that they push by hand. That's a pretty small seed. I can't use that in my big planter. So they do that by hand. The big one, I use the corn planter. That's the same size kernels as the regular corn. So, and I got a plateless planter, so there's no problem planting it.
So you buy your seed, or do you take the seed off the cobs here and plant your own seed?
Well, I bought the seed this year. Last year, I don't know, our big Indian corn didn't turn out well, and I thought, well, maybe it could be, the seed or something, genetics in it, so I bought new seed, but I think this year we're going to save the seed because we got very nice big Indian corn. It stood well, it germinated well, and beautiful cobs.
The Indian corn, there's something to be said about the beauty of it. No two are alike, are they? Do you ever see two twins? Or?
Well, the colors, yeah, you'll see some of the darker colors look alike, but you got the odd variations. There's a lot of them. We have a lot of fun husking this. So, hey, we haven't seen this color yet, because we usually do this at night, after the kids have all gone home, and we'll come and sit down here on a pail or whatever chair and husk, and we have more fun to see who's got the nicest color.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. The corn is beautiful.
We try and sell as near as perfect as we can.
The customers kind of demand perfection, but I don't think nobody realizes the amount of effort to get that.
Well, I don't want to sell worms if I can help it, And a lot of people, I got some of the kids do. They don't like worms either. And I'm sure that the shopper feels the same way,
LaVern, do you have any idea, how many different colors there are in a ear of Indian corn? Like, look at this ear here. How many colors are in there? I mean, it's a gigantic amount of color.
I tell you what, that's something I guess we never thought of. We just look at how pretty they are, and never thought about how many different colors of one cob. That's maybe something we'll have to talk about and try that one day.
Have to have a contest or something on that.
Yeah, you know what? That'd be a good idea. Have a contest during pumpkin season. Yeah, we have people come here and buy a few things. Not a real lot because we don't advertise. We really don't have the time either. But if they do come, we accommodate them. But we could maybe have a little contest.
That'd be
How many
interesting.
colors in that cob,
LaVern, you just got your trailer loaded here with pumpkins. Where is this load going?
Marshfield.
Where in Marshfield?
Oh, Festival Foods.
And how many loads like this goes out a day at this time of the year?
Well, it depends on how much time I have and when they got to have it. This week alone, we got to have about 9,000 of them, and we're going to have the paper bins. I got to have 200 of them this week delivered.
200. And how many have you got on this load?
I haven't added up yet, but there's somewhere around.
It looks like 12.
There's about 40 pumpkins average in a bin.
And how much does a pumpkin normally weigh?
I haven't had time to weigh them yet this year, but they're pretty heavy. You they're heavy.
So one of those pallets are quite heavy then.
Well, I'm thinking that that load there probably weighs about 10,000 pounds.
And when were these pumpkins picked?
Yesterday.
And you already are taking them to the store. And how long will this load last over there at Festival Foods at Marshfield?
Well, on Friday, they always have a blowout, the first weekend of October. And they expect to sell 4,000 in one day at Marshfield alone.
4,000 in one? Wow.
We started the first week in September picking pumpkins already, 9 days earlier than last year. So when I plant, you got to, just like a farmer would plant his corn. If he wants to harvest early, he's got to plant it earlier maturity. Well, the earlier ones were little smaller than what you're seeing right now. But we have a real big crop. So I got just as many out in the field that we left as what we after we picked. You
So
know,
you've really been picking, about a month, haven't you? Yeah.
a month already. We've been picking a few days over a month already.
Well, how long does picking go on?
So sometimes the second day or 2 days before the end of October, before Halloween. I've already delivered pumpkins the day of Halloween.
After Halloween, then the demand drops.
Well, that's it. But
Are these pumpkins, are they primarily then for Halloween? Is there any for eating purpose?
they're all carving pumpkins. The only eating ones I got are the Lumina that you probably see up there in the bend.
We saw some white pumpkins a little bit earlier. Tell us about those.
They're just a white pumpkin. They're actually, if you leave them long enough, they do turn orange. They're orange underneath. But they like a few of them for variety, some.
It's kind of a novelty then. Well,
With this year, with the crop that we got, I don't know if we'll use all of them. I got a feeling we won't quite use them all up.
it's been a good year then.
Very good year. Very good.
With all these pumpkins you got here, do you ever make a jack-o'-lantern? I know you're a busy guy. You've been telling us that for Halloween.
I tell you what, I did that when I was a kid. I haven't done one since. I never carved for many, many years. I just don't get time. When I come in the house, I put a long day, and we've been putting in 12, 14 hours a day out here. Because after we get done picking and the kids go home, then we go back up to the barn where you saw the Indian corn and all that. We got to wash that. There was a few nights we washed till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we almost feel guilty for coming out today. We thank you very much, LaVern, for being on the Discover Trempealeau County show, and we know you've enjoyed the program, and we'll see you on the next show. Well, we came from the Sylla pumpkin farm, and we had a pretty good show over there. And I guess they're located about, I think it's about 5 miles east of Independence. And now we're at another pumpkin farm on the Willard and Donald Schank farm. And Willard's wife, Celeste, raises pumpkins, and she raises them a little different than the Syllas. So we thought it'd be interesting here to visit with Celeste and tell us about her operation. I guess, Celeste, the first question I'd have is about how many acres of pumpkins do you raise every year?
We raise about 1.5 acres of pumpkins, 1 acre of the small ones, and about 1/2 acre of the miniature ones.
And about how many pumpkins per acre is that? I suppose it depends a lot on the year, how productive the year is.
Well, I would say we're getting approximately between 4,000 and 5,000 pumpkins a year off of what we grow.
Wow, now you don't necessarily raise pumpkins to sell as for Halloween. You work on faces and painting of the pumpkins. That's your primary use or sales?
Yeah, you're right, Olin. That's what we do. We started out doing just little decorative things and putting faces on pumpkins, and it seems to have gone very well. This is my 16th season doing it, and we sell about between 2,500 and 3,000 pumpkins, painted ones, a year.
Now the painting, we're going to talk a lot about that in a little while here, but do you have help doing that, or are you the primary painter of faces on the pumpkin?
I do the painting, but my kids are responsible for picking, washing, and carrying the pumpkins in and out. I also hire my nephew Nick and my aunt Tracy to come out and help with the project.
Now, where do you sell most of your painted face pumpkins? Is it in the area?
I go to La Crosse and Eau Claire to the grocery stores. In Eau Claire, I hit the Mega East and West stores, and also Ron's Castle Foods. I go to Chippewa, and I hit Gordy's IGA at the lake as well as in town. And in La Crosse, it's at Festival Foods, Woodman's, the Quillen stores, the Scogan stores, also Galesville and Holman.
Wow, you got a big delivery there. That's a lot of stores. Now, does your supply, does it fill the demand?
Well, this year I think I'm going to run out before I'm going to be able to meet my demand. I think I'll be out of pumpkins by the end of this week. So I'll have one more week that I could possibly sell pumpkins, but I don't have the pumpkins.
Now, do you paint every pumpkin, a face on every pumpkin, or do you sell a few of the pumpkins without, faces painted?
We have been selling some of the pumpkins without faces, primarily the small pie-sized pumpkins. We've been boxing those and selling those. We've also sold some of the mini ones without faces on them, too. And the large pumpkins we grow and we sell out of the yard here because we get a lot of people year after year to stop in the yard and buy pumpkins.
How'd you get interested in pumpkins?
I went to a craft show and I saw it done at a craft show and I thought I can do that. So I started painting, and it got to be a project for my kids and I. And we put the money away for their college tuition. And so far, it's got 2 kids through college. I've got 1 left to go.
Well, it's kind of a family enterprise then, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, maybe, Celeste, as long as Wade is where he is, maybe we could just take a look at some of the, what kind of pumpkins do you call these?
These are the miniature ones. They're the Munchkin or the Jack B. Little pumpkins. And I paint those as well as put these little Halloween witches' hats on them. The hats we cut out and sew in the wintertime, and we do about 1,000 hats.
Quite a few on the table right ahead of us now. This guy here seems to have only one eye.
Well, he's winking. He's quite clever, and he's winking, and he's also a Packer fan. As you can see, he's got a Packer hat on.
And these are all your more or less designs then, Celeste, these faces.
Well, yeah, they are. I have people that watch the cartoons or watch the different pictures that they see, and they are starting to clip them out and give to me and say, why don't you try and do one of these kinds? So,
well, Celeste, I think Wade is kind of maneuvering into a position where you can maybe give us a step-by-step approach here, how you create the faces. You start with a blank pumpkin, obviously.
A blank pumpkin, and I usually have about 100 of them on the tables at a time. And the first thing I do is go through and just put the white on. I don't draw anything with pencil anymore. I used to, draw the designs on first, but that took way too long. So the first thing I do is go through and put the white on. Then I also put the red on. And every pumpkin gets 2 coats of white and red. So that's the first coat that has to dry. Now the second stage would be to go back through and put another coat of white on, right over where I've gone before.
You get pretty efficient doing this.
Well, you got to be fast if you're going to get that many done in a year. So that's the second coat. Now after that dries, then I go through and put the black on, which would be on this one here. And nothing is, perfect, because you can always go through after a while and fix. That's the one nice thing about painting pumpkins. When you paint them, if you don't like what you have got, you can always go back through and scratch it all off. Whereas if you'd carve a pumpkin, you're pretty much set and done. That's it. That's all you can do. Now after the black is on, I kind of let that dry a little bit, and then I go with the highlighter or the black liners, and I touch up whatever has to be fixed, and I also put in all the black lines.
You know where to put those black lines.
Well, I try and go around everything that's on the pumpkin already. I put freckles on, put on teeth, put just tongues on, put laughing pumpkins. Some pumpkins are smiling, some pumpkins are just sad, some pumpkins are grumpy.
You ever make one a little bit too ugly and you decide you have to change it?
Yeah, then sometimes it has to be fixed up and done over again. Then, okay, so
is that basically, are you talking about a finished product in this one that we're just working on?
Nope, that's not done yet. That has to dry, and here's another one that I have. And you can see that there's some places where it needs to be fixed up a little bit. There's a little bit, white that isn't covered here, so I go back through and fix that. Little space over here that's not fixed, so I fix that in. And then the last thing I do on the pumpkins in the house is I put the white highlights in the eyes and one on the nose. And there he is. Now he's ready to go out into the garage and be sprayed.
What do you mean spray?
I spray him with a clear acrylic finish, and that just brings him all together. He just starts to shine and glow, and he looks like he comes alive.
That's quite a job, the whole process. You had different phases ready for us, but if you were going to consider the time, about how long would it take you to make a pumpkin face?
Oh, one pumpkin, I wouldn't even be able to guess how long it would take me, because I do, like I said, 100 at a time on the tables. And I usually, if I can start out right in the morning, I can get 100 done by dinner time.
Well, I noticed as we're looking here, there's kind of more or less 3 different faces that we're looking at. About how many different types of faces do you create?
Oh, I don't even know. I guess the eyes, there must be about 6 different kinds of eyes that I use. And then I use the mouths are different. Some have teeth, some don't have teeth. Some have the little grin off to the side. Some have just the little smirks. It's all different. I couldn't, a combination probably there's end up maybe being 30, 35 different kinds of faces.
Is there any certain face that you have discovered through the years that sells better than other faces?
Well, I don't know if there's one that sells the best, but my absolute favorite is this one. I think it looks like a little puppy dog. So that's my favorite one. But
when you start a face, from the very first step that you pointed out to us here, do you know what that face is going to look like? Do you have a mental vision of what it's going to look like?
No, I usually just grab the pumpkin and go for it. Whatever I feel like painting at that particular time comes to mind. But there is something that I do kind of follow. If it's a short, flat pumpkin, I try to do like the little cross-eyed things. If it's a long, tall pumpkin, I try to do a long face. And my eyes are always the main draw on the pumpkin. I try to make the eyes the biggest part of the pumpkin when you look at it, so that's the first thing that sees, and that's the first thing that your eye is drawn to, is the eyes on the pumpkin.
Well, you have a lot of pumpkins sitting on tables behind you here in your kitchen, and you say that isn't as many as you normally have back there. Are these some that you plan on finishing yet today?
Yep, these will be finished today, sprayed today, and loaded in the van tonight yet to go out to Eau Claire tomorrow.
Now, Celeste, these are all ready to be delivered, right?
That's correct.
How long does it take for that spray to kind of set up?
Oh, just a couple of minutes, and it'll be dry enough to pack and load them up.
Boy, I don't know. I think you said you had 30 different faces. I think you got 100 different faces here, the way it looks.
Yeah, they are, and every one is unique. And I'm sure that if you look at them close enough, you're going to know somebody that looks just like that.
Oh, so you kind of got a mental image of somebody's face, huh? I'm not going to ask you which one looks like me.
Okay.
Well, Celeste, we really appreciate your time today talking about your pumpkins and making faces, a kind of a unique niche of the pumpkin market, and they're sold all over the area. So if you buy a pumpkin like this, those that are watching, they maybe came from Celeste Schank right here in Travis Valley. Well, we've been at the Sylla Pumpkin Farm and the Schank Pumpkin Farm, and I think we've learned a lot about pumpkins and raising pumpkins and drawing faces on pumpkins, and we've learned a lot, and I think we all can appreciate the pumpkins that we buy in the stores a lot better by the visits of these 2 farms near Independence. Could be with us, and we will see you on the next Discover Trempealeau County show.